I've said this before, because of lack of space. I think when I first started making dioramas, I knew I had to make them modular, so they have to be able to break down and be taken apart. So, as everybody knows, I use magnets. So that magnet there holds it together. And a diorama like an alleyway, which I've already worked on 2, going on a 3rd one, possibly a 4th one. I'm getting some requests for them, and I'm enjoying them. So I'm always trying to give it a different twist. But I'm not bored with them yet, so I'll keep putting them out. But the dilemma is, are a couple. First of all, magnetizing it so that it lines up and so forth, and then because it is an alleyway, you want to put some rubble. So what I did in this case is I glued, balsa wood that I made look like just an old piece of 2x4, and then this back here could just be a towel, just like a towel that you may find in the alleyway, just whatever. And then this is just some like letters, some paper, just kind of crumbled up. And what I did is I glued them down. The issue with it is that you can seal it really well. If I chose to seal it in a thicker type of sealant. But I think if you do that, it takes away from the realistic look. So the dilemma, the dilemma becomes, what can you do? So to that end, and then the other concern is that when you do take it apart and you stack it up, for the most part, you have to be careful. You don't want to stack up this wall on this, or the floor on here, just because now we have a piece of balsa wood acting as a drain. Now this has been glued by hobby glue, and then I also used hot, the glue gun. So it has that double. So this is pretty strong, and are these borders. They're not gonna come out. This here obviously is a little more sensitive. So you wouldn't want to put anything on top of here. So because this is the flattest surface, and then this has the piping. So you don't really want to put anything on top of this. I guess you can put this piece that's a little smaller than the rest of it on top of here. Anyway, the point is that somehow you have to, if you're going to break it down and put it together, those things have to come into play. What comes first, what comes second? Because if you kind of crush it too much, it's going to pop off some of what may be on the walls. And that's what scares me. Not scares me, but that's what bothers me about the floor, because I guess I can either do something real thick and then it'll never scratch off or flake off or fall off, or I can do something a little bit lighter and it looks more realistic, but then it's with the the possibilities that it's going to start flaking off and falling off. So I was just trying to think of what I can create, so I came up with these little guys, these little just made out of glue gun. Just put some glue gun down on some clear paper, let it dry through some dirt and some rocks, and then I have to cut it, or I try to cut as straight as possible. I may still have to work on some of the pieces. So what you would create is, instead of having a permanent little corner of just blah, whatever junk, garbage, you can actually remove it and move it around. And I'm not done with this. I still have to kind of give it a dry brush and so forth, but just so you kind of get the idea, where you can place these wherever you'd like. And that doesn't make sense unless I was to put something here, but you get the point. Threw some glue gun on some clear paper, threw some, this is plant dirt and a couple pebbles, and waited for it to dry. Then I had to actually take the lighter, or a lighter, and put it underneath that sheet and because I couldn't peel it off. So I just kind of warmed it up, and I was able to kind of, and you can tell that you know, the effect of when it starts to melt and it gets peeled off, but kind of try to make it as flat as possible so it can just lay down flat on the diorama. So I think that's a pretty cool idea to just use, instead of making it like a permanent, make it movable. So these pieces actually are for Sling's diorama, which is currently down there, being prepared for being airbrushed, and adding some additional graffiti and so forth. So these pieces that I created, I'm gonna send Sling's way, because actually he has none of this on the floor. And again, for shipping purposes, I didn't want to, you know, I wanted to be careful with that. So he'll get these pieces and then he can kind of place them anywhere, and he basically has movable gunk. So that's kind of cool. So here are a couple of pickups that wouldn't have been possible without the help of Mark G. Nolan. So Mark is a collector, diorama builder, prop builder, and he hit me up last weekend, and I guess he was at Target in South Bay, which is the Target that I got my Captain America, I believe. Yeah, the Captain America series, Infinite Marvel Legends series, was there. So Mark just happened to be at the store, and he saw the Spider Girl or Spider Woman, I'm not sure which one it is. And he just, you know, texted me a picture and was like, dude, you know, I may grab this, or are you interested? I'm not sure if he asked me if I was interested, or just, you know, asking, you know, just kind of, yo, I'm gonna grab this. Or no, you know what, he did say, are you interested? Because I was like, nah, what I'm really more interested is in, you know, the other two. And so he's like, all right, cool. He texts me a few minutes later. He's like, hold on. And I guess Mark has an uncanny ability finding hidden action figures in department stores, because I guess they were stashed somewhere, and he found them. And he texted me, he was like, yo, I found these two. They have no names on them. I had told him it was Boomerang and Toxin, and so he you know, texted me a picture. I was like, yo, dude, if you're not gonna grab him, you know, or, you know, grab him, you know, for me, and I'll and he's like, yeah, no problem. So he you know, grabbed them at retail, which is now $19.99. So now I've almost completed the set. I really don't want the Spider Girl. I guess you know, it's not. You know, if I ever find it for like $15, I may grab it at that price, but not at $20. But yeah, these guys are kind of cool, and you know, again, heroes I have plenty of. So villains is always new villains, especially to the series, is always cool to acquire. So I was able to grab these two. So good looking out, Mark. And again, these are kind of going on ice, man. I'm not gonna open these up because this is what I'm seeing a lot of, the toy pictures, which, you know, understandably so. They're amazing figures. That, you know, both series are pretty dope. So people are you know, flexing them out, and I definitely understand that. And usually I just tend to kind of, when that happens, is put away those figures, since it's so many of them being used in the community already. And I usually wait a couple years and then pop them back out, and you know, when people forget about them, and oh shit, I remember. And just keep it fresh that way. So these guys are staying mint on card for honestly probably a year plus. I'd be having that kind of patience, bro. I can't even tell you. Like with sneakers, when I collect, you know, my sneaker collection, the sneakers that I still brand new, that I've had for 1, 2, 2.5, 3 years, that I still haven't worn because everybody was wearing them. So I said, you know, I'll put them on nice, and then one day I'll just pop them out for the summer, like bow. But yeah, anyway, good looking out, Mark. So the other day I was at AC Moore, my local you know, hobby and craft store, what have you, and needed to get some blades, so I got some of these X-Acto craft tools. It's just a fancy packaging. It's just regular number 11 blades. But anyway, the point is that I paid, I think, $3 for 5 blades. That's pretty expensive. And part of meeting up with Mark today to grab those action figures. He also was able to hook me up with this bad boy. 100 number 11 blades. For like 15 bucks, man. So good looking out on that as well, Mark. Obviously, I am creating dioramas like a madman, so these are definitely going to come in handy. So 100 of them for 15 bucks will keep me nice and stocked for quite some time. So I'm kind of glad, and I use mostly these number 11s. And interestingly enough, I just bought that. I think it's right. Yeah, I just bought this one the other day, and I think it's called X2000 knife. So what I like about this knife is the grip is a nice, comfortable grip. But more importantly, because I a lot of my diorama making doesn't even happen at home; it happens on the road. So the other thing that's real cool is that it comes with a little section so you can store the blades. So you take this little part off, and I think you can put up to 3 blades in there. So it's kind of cool, little carrying spot. But more importantly, I definitely like the grip, and actually the other cool part is that you won't lose the top. I usually lose the top. It allows you to put it on the other side of the X-Acto knife. Damn, look at how that ching ching. Alright, on to the next. So this is my small collection of Build-A-Figure pieces that need completion. Some of them are, light miles away from being completed. Some of them are a little closer. Actually, none of them are a little closer, I'm lying. Galactus, I just have his head and his left leg. Yeah. I have Blob's right leg. Apocalypse's left leg and his I guess his his lower abdomen. I have one of Onslaught's legs, his right leg. Couple pieces of damn, his name's just escaped. I forgot that dude's name. Let's get back to that. We have apparently that's Mojo's ass. I don't know, and a couple other pieces. Red Hulk, his left arm, and I got Ares' left arm as well. Yeah, so man, they're pretty much incomplete. So if anybody has any pieces of any of these and you wanna sell them, holler at me, man. If it's not ridiculous, if you're not trying to charge me 20 bucks for a host. I mean, you know what? I don't even know what they're worth, man. I don't know. If you have some pieces of any of these and you're interested in selling some of them, hit me up, or maybe even trades. I don't do many trades. As everything I have, it's like my kids, dude. You want to trade your kids? But seriously. Also, you know what? Not for nothing, but I have a Pitt. I have a Pitt. Let me see. I'm now getting mad fancy and using my iPhone as the guiding light. So there you see Pitt. And if somebody's interested in a trade for Ares for Pitt, let me know, man. I'll definitely be interested in that. They go for about the same price on eBay from the research I've done, so it's a pretty even trade when it comes to the monetary side of it. So yeah, man, if anybody has an extra Ares and they're willing to trade for a Pitt, holla at your boy. Yeah, so work in progress, I guess. You know what? I think I do have another piece of Mojo, because I do have a long shot action figure that I never opened. Still mint on card. So I think I have. He may be the most complete guy. So yeah, so holla at your boy. either here or on Instagram, Facebook. I'm under the same name everywhere. All right, peace.